In Phoenix, unfortunately, we'll be dealing with high heat first alert days because of extreme heat warnings. And really, Thursday, it's going to be the worst of it, maybe 118. And that'd be one of the hottest days we've seen so far this summer.
Trust me, I get it. Running in the heat is so hard. I've now done multiple marathon preps in the brutal Arizona summer heat. So in this video, I'm gonna give you some tips that will make running in the heat easier.
Sneaking out of the house, creeping underground, poison out of your mouth, and your hands in the pocket of a maddening crowd. I jumped into the clouds, up above the sound, to see what all the fuss was about. And it's a long way down, a long way down now.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the video. Just wrapped up a run. It's Saturday. This week has been the biggest week of this ultramarathon prep. I'm gonna close out at 70 miles, which is not only the biggest week of this specific build, but that's the most I've ever run. I've only ever done 70-mile weeks, never gone above that. So this was a big week, and it's brutally hot this week. Like, it was about 7 a.m. went for this run, and it was like closing in on 100 degrees already. So running in the heat's no joke. And one of the questions I get asked most living in Arizona is like, how do you run in the heat? Like, how do you train throughout the summers? It's something that we're all dealing with, whether you live in Arizona or Kansas. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's hot all around. Arizona's dry and hot. Midwest is, humid and hot. So both have their challenges. But I feel like after going through a bunch of different marathon training blocks in the summer, for example, my sub 3 block was throughout the whole summer, and it was really hot, but I got it done and ran the best race possible. So it is possible to get super fit in the summer, even though you feel the least fit. So in this video, I thought I'd just go over my tips, things that I do that have helped me get through these summers and come out on the other side alive. And hopefully they can help you out as well. So let's go through the day. I'm going to give you some tips and advice and just, show you my training and just offer any input that I can that will help you. So let's do this. All right, just spawned randomly in the middle of the desert. But this is actually a perfect location because it's kind of symbolic of heat because it's 110 degrees out right now. But I will say, to start off this video, the most important thing and the first piece of advice and tip I have to give you is nothing else matters if you're not hydrated. Hydration is the number one most important thing you need to do for yourself if you want to get through summer training in the heat. You're cooked if you're not hydrated. What this looks like is obviously drinking enough water throughout the day. That is very important, but that is not the only thing you should be doing. You should also be supplementing with electrolytes. If you just chug water all day, every day, it's gonna flush you out completely, and your muscles are gonna feel extra fatigued when you're running and sweating, and it's just a bad deal. And what electrolytes do is they help maintain the balance of fluid in your body. You'll notice the more electrolytes you take throughout your training, the less muscle fatigue you'll feel, and the longer and more power output you can give in your workouts and in your runs. So electrolytes are crucial. It's not just some fad that people are on right now, take your electrolytes. Like, actually take your electrolytes. They're very, very important. So the backbone and glue to everything I'm going to talk about in this video is staying hydrated with water and electrolytes. Extremely important. Now, some practical tips on how to drink water and electrolytes on your runs is obviously handheld water bottle can be great. When I'm out here on the trails and I'm not by a water source, I bring a vest and I load that thing up with, bottles full of water and electrolytes. The other day I came out here for an 11-mile run and I went through 3 600 milliliter flasks on that run and I needed more. So you need a lot of water, and bringing a vest can be a great way when you're, far away from your home or a water source. Now, if you are closer to a water source and you don't want to bring a water bottle, I recommend just like running like a loop route where you can, every couple miles come by your house or a water source and like be able to get some water quickly. So I did my 60-mile long run last weekend. I just did it around a 4-mile loop so that, every 4 miles or so I could check in and make sure, like, do I need water? Do I need electrolytes? What do I need? So handheld water bottle, vest, or run very close to a water source at all times. A really solid trick that I've started doing when I come out here to the trail to run is I'll freeze my electrolytes in my soft flask, and then in the morning I'll take it out, put it in my vest, and then about like 30 minutes into my run, it's melted enough to where it's still really cold, but it's also like drinkable at that point. And so that's one way when I'm out here in the heat, I get really cooled off by drinking like ice cold electrolytes. All right, I have just a little Strava emergency. I'm at 68.7 miles for the week, which is so close to 70. Like I obviously have to get there. So I'm gonna go for a little evening trot around the neighborhood just to get to 70 miles for this week. But that's actually a perfect segue into my second tip for running in the heat. This one's arguably the most obvious, but I should say it anyways because it's very true. There's 2 times of day that you should be aiming to run in order to avoid like the hottest part of the day. So this morning I ran early, and then tonight I'm getting an extra mile in, and so I'm gonna run at night. But don't mess with the middle of the day. It is absolutely brutal, especially where I'm at. It gets up to 115, 120 degrees, and that's just no way. So that's pretty much the most obvious tip, is just time your runs, morning or night. If you only have time in the middle of the day, just go to the treadmill or something like that. Because I feel like it's just more dangerous to run outside when it's that hot. So with that being said, I'm going to knock out a little over a mile and then get to 70 miles on the week and wrap up the biggest week of my ultra prep so far, which is exciting. So let's go run. All right, it is time to recover. Hopping in the Normatec boots just to get my legs right. Like I said, that wrapped up 70 miles, which is the most miles I've done this whole prep. Also tied with the most miles I've ever run. 70 is my peak. So yeah, quickly just want to go over my training for the week and just go over my training in general. Every video I want to make sure like you all are in the loop and you can see what I'm doing. All of my training is always on Strava. Every run, as soon as I run it, it goes to Strava. So follow me there to be real time in touch with my training. But like I said, hit 70 miles this week. My graph is very steady. My main goal for the past many months, probably 6 or 7 months, has just been like maintaining 50 miles a week and just like slowly but surely build. That is the name of the game. If you're getting into running, you're looking to achieve a goal, give yourself enough time to slowly build. That's the best way to get your body used to running so many miles and staying injury free. That's kind of how I've been able to like avoid some injuries. Just like I just take it slow and I give myself a lot of time to train. All right, so this is what my full week of training looked like. On Monday, I did a total of 9.2 miles. On Tuesday, I went out for a trail run with my friends in Phoenix, and we did 10 miles on the trail. Got about like 1,600 feet of elevation gain on that run, so really good. Then in the evening, wanted to just shake out my legs a little bit and get an extra mile. So 11 miles total on Tuesday, 10 miles total on Wednesday, 10 miles total on Thursday, and then Friday was a huge day. That was more of my like long run, big effort day. So I went out to the trail that morning and I did 11 miles on the trail. Just did this loop. I actually got a local legend status on Strava, so that was pretty sick. But I ran out of water. I went through 3 full flasks on that run. And so I ended up just hopping on the treadmill later and did 10 more miles. So 21 miles on Friday, big day. On Saturday, I did 8.5 miles total, and that brought my week to 70 miles. Sunday is a rest day. Rest days are very important. Everyone should take a rest day. It just like benefits your body to rest one day. You could go every day and never take a rest day and just keep beating up your body nonstop, but then your body just like can't recover and you're doing more harm to your body than good. So please make sure you're taking rest days. I prioritize it. They have to happen for me because I need my legs to be fresh. And it also just resets me for the next week to go back after another big week. So that's what my training looked like. Obviously on this build, I don't have a coach. I've been running for a few years now, and I have a really good understanding of what it takes to do these races. As I go to more like specific marathon time goals, I will have a coach. But for this particular, my focus has just been over the past 6 months building like the strongest base I've ever had. Right now, I'm 9 weeks out from the race, which is a little over 2 months, and I'm really in a good spot. My body feels good, everything feels good, and I feel like I'm ready to start ramping things up. It's all about strategy. I don't want to be peaking out right now 2 months out from my race and burn out and then have to like somehow suffer through 2 more months of training. The idea is you're just slowly building and then peaking right at the right point, reaching your maximum fitness level for that block, and then racing. That is the goal for me. And so I got some big months coming up, a lot of good training. In a few weeks, I'm going on a really fun trek in Colorado to climb the hardest mountain in Colorado, Capitol Peak. It's going to be an epic adventure, climbing it with my brother and my uncle, and it's going to be insane. So I'm really excited for that. That'll be a great little bit of training for this race. But yeah, we're getting closer to race day, and I'm putting in work. I'm giving it my all, and I'm having fun with it. So that's what my training looks like and has looked like up until this point. All right, it is time. Give me 1 second. Oh my word, this is gonna be crazy. I have a problem. Boom. If you know me, you know I love running shoes, and I love giving you my updated running shoe rotation. And I just realized that it has been 3 months since I've done a shoe rotation update for you. A lot of the things you see on this rack are the same, but there are some additions and some subtractions that I've made. For one, I got a bigger rack, shoe rack, and I've got some great stuff on here. Everything you see on this rack are things that I definitely recommend. I am not sponsored by any shoe company, so I can say whatever I want. I'm giving you my honest feedback, okay? So, all these shoes, this is my honest thoughts. I'm gonna speed run everything here and just go through every single one really fast. Speaking of speed running, all my speed shoes are on the top. I got the Alpha Flies Adios Pro 4s, the New Balance Elite V5s. I just got these today, but the V4s are on the bottom. I love those shoes, so if these are anything like that, they'll be great. I have the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0s. These are amazing shoes. Some of the only Hokas I'll ever put on my feet. In this middle row right here, these are my daily trainers. I have the Asics Super Blast 2s. These are pretty heavy but firm and stable shoe. Then my daily go-to are the New Balance 1080s. These are the GOAT of daily trainers. If you had to get one running shoe, this is the shoe to get. I promise you, these will not let you down. Next, we have the Vomero Plus, one of the most beautiful shoes I've ever seen. I just got these. I put a total of 17 miles on these. You saw them at the beginning of this video. I love them. They feel a lot like the New Balance 1080s, just really cushioned. They're a heavier shoe, but they're gonna give you a lot of support, and yeah, they just felt so comfortable when I was wearing them. Then you have the Vomero 18s. These are also a great shoe, just less cushioned than the Pluses or the 1080s, but still a solid trainer for a relatively affordable price compared to the rest of the market. Obviously, as I've gotten more into trail running, I've gotten more trail shoes. So on the third row, you see my trail shoes. I have 2 pairs of the Adidas Agravix Speed Ultras. I love these shoes, very responsive, lightweight and quick on the trails. These are more of like a racing shoe, but I still train in them. Arrest me. These shoes I'm really excited about. They have a little sleeve on them. They're from Satisfy. These are called the Rocker, and I have been loving these this past week. Really stable. They feel really supportive, good traction. They've got these kind of like lugs on the bottom. But yeah, I've been loving these for training, so I'm gonna do a lot more of my training for the next 2 months in these bad boys. And then I also have the Nike Wild Horses. I prefer these for more just like hiking, not as much running because they're a little bit firm. Now lastly, on the very bottom row, these are kind of the shoes that I wear the least amount. I still like them, I still like throwing them in my rotation here and there, but they're just not the things that I reach for right away all the time. But I have the SC Elite V4s. These got sidelined, like I said, to the V5s, but these are a great race day speed shoe. Right here I have the New Balance Rebel V5s, a really great lightweight trainer, pretty comfortable. I've got the Hoka Rocket X3s, just got these. And then lastly, I just got these when I went to Nike, but these are the Wild Horse 10s. And these are a hiking shoe for me because they're pretty big and bulky. So I hope you enjoyed this section as much as I do. I love talking about shoes, and I love kind of like helping point you all in the right direction if you're looking for new shoes or different shoes to try. I recommend all of these. And that is a completed segment on my shoe rotation until next time, which will probably be a couple months. Another day, another little trail run. I'm so tired this morning, but gonna get it done, gonna get this run in, and talk about some more advice for running in the brutal heat. It's already, what is it, like 87 degrees, and it's 5:40. Just gotta be tough. I did the little water trick I was talking about earlier. Froze this water bottle and then froze these electrolytes. So hopefully in like 20 minutes, they'll be melted enough to just drink some ice cold drink, because that's gonna cool me off. It gets toasty out here, but I will say it's so peaceful being out here. Just like, I don't know, love the desert landscape. It's such a vibe. As it relates to clothing, when you're running in the heat, you definitely want to wear the least amount of clothes possible while still being legal, obviously. But sometimes, like, I'm wearing these 3-inch shorts. There are times I genuinely, like, hope I don't walk past a cop or anything for fear of just being detained on the spot. Because these are short. But wearing light-colored, breathable clothing on your runs, it's gonna help you a lot, just feel cooler. At the end of the day, I can give you all these practical tips and tricks and things to do to make yourself feel cooler on your runs in the summer. But I think really the most important advice I can give you has nothing to do with those practical tips and tricks, and it has everything to do with your mental state. It is so important when you're training throughout the summer to set your mental expectations correctly. Now, what I mean by that is, for example, the workouts and easy runs you do in the wintertime when it's 30, 40, 50 degrees are gonna feel 2 to 3 times harder at least in the summertime. So if you go into your run in the summertime when it's really hot out and expect to feel the exact same way and hit the exact same paces as you did in the wintertime, it's not gonna happen. Hate to break it to you. So instead of going into your runs and judge everything based off of a time metric, go in and base it completely off of an effort metric. Your summer training should just be done based off of effort. There is a reason that heat training is called poor man's altitude training. When you train at altitude, it is way harder than running at sea level, obviously. But the benefits you get from running at altitude are incredible, because as soon as you go back down to sea level, you're gonna cruise and feel so much better. It's the same thing with heat training. In the moment, it's not gonna feel like it's paying off. It's gonna feel like you're losing fitness. It's gonna feel like very mentally demoralizing at times. But I promise you, if you stick through that summer training block, you are going to crush your fall races and your fall goals when it's cooler out. The reason I personally know this is when I ran my first sub 3 hour marathon, I trained throughout the whole Phoenix summer and I struggled so much. There were so many workouts where I couldn't hit my paces, where I felt awful. And I literally thought, like, there's no way I'm running a sub 3. I'm so out of shape. I don't know how I'm so out of shape because I'm training so hard. And it was all just in my head because I went out and ran the greatest race of my life and ran a solid sub 3 hour marathon. So when you're training in the summer, you're gonna feel like you're not fit, but do not let that get to you, because not only are you not fit, you're getting extremely fit, but you just can't see the results of it just quite yet. But you just have to get through it. There's no easy way around heat. Like I said, I can give you all these tricks, but at the end of the day, it's still hot outside and it still sucks to run sometimes. So really the most valuable thing I can tell you is set your expectations. Don't let it demoralize you. Even if you have a terrible summer run, you're still getting fit and you're still building super critical mental resilience. We're all out here training in the summer, feeling like crap. You are not alone. Just don't give up, because the payoff is bigger than anything you can imagine. And with that being said, my bottle has melted enough to drink out of. All right, that is gonna wrap up my run. Did 8 miles this morning. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you were able to take something away from this video and all my videos. I love making videos and I love showing you my training and just documenting my life. If there's anything you want to see in the next video, as regards to like my training or just my life in general, let me know in the comments. I love reading through all the comments and responding to as many of you as I can. But with that being said, I'm gonna wrap up this video. Drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you all in the next video.